Hi there. Hi there, I'm Lyndon Thorpe, and this is Embodiment Q&A, and we're here every Friday at 9 a.m. BST. So if you want to find out more about embodiment, which is becoming really the buzzword of the moment, this is where you'll be able to find the basics. And today is quite exciting because we're carrying on from last week when we started non-violent communication, which is, again, becoming really important. And we're going to continue on with that today. And we're going to introduce affirmations. And if I can just explain, people think, yes, I can speak. Yes, I know my vocabulary. I can make affirmations. But it's not as simple as that. And so nearly everybody I meet says, oh no, I've tried affirmations, they never work. So what we need to do is do the groundwork. We need to do the preparation, because whenever you're attracting something from the universe, which is what we're doing with affirmations, then you have to be in a certain frame, a certain state. And if you're not, it won't work. It's as simple as that. But it's a hugely mindful state you have to be in. And many people I'm talking to are not yet able to experience mindful states. So that's really where it all starts. So let's lay the groundwork today, and then we can continue on with affirmations probably for a couple of weeks. And Ebby Sheila is here, but she's just decorating her sitting room. So she's covered in paint. And she might be a little late. No, she's here, and I think she's okay, but she's very tired. Let me bring her on. Hi there.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm good. It's just been really hot, so the time has set in.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you made it, but do slope off if you start to feel tired. And yes, so hot. It's 33 degrees here today, and it's still really hot even in the evening. So
that's a change.
It's really getting hot. No.
It was cold.
Yes, it's really changed. Yeah, it was. The rainy season this year has been incredibly cold. It's been really, really chilly. And so you have to get the sweaters out again, you put them all away and then suddenly you have to get them out. But then yesterday it started to warm up, and today, so going on 36 today, and that's kind of mild for Japan. It will get over 40 soon. We have to live in aircon, I'm afraid. It's the only way to survive. But anyway. Now, I'm not complaining because I'm so glad to see blue skies. We've had these very heavy clouds for 3.5 weeks now, no sun at all. So today is glorious. It's beautiful out there. So let's get started, shall we, if you're up to it. And I've made a few slides here to kind of ease us in. I'll make them a little bit smaller, so they're only... let's put you, oh, no, wait a moment. Let's see. Now maybe I can't if there are two of us. Okay, so the slides are a little bit big because we have to fit on two. So, basically then, just to ease us back in, and do stop me, Abby, if you want to expand or question or whatever. So last week we talked about non-violent communication. If you weren't here, link members, I'll just do a little summary. And actually, non-violent communication really is essential for setting your affirmations. If you are angry or resentful or any of those rather negative, heavy emotions, your affirmations won't work. it's very subtle energy, you see. So if you're really full of anger or full of exhaustion or any of those things, better to wait until you're in a really good place, emotionally and physically and so on, to really start to make serious emotions. Yeah, a couple of people have said to me, yeah, I said, well, how did you make these affirmations? They'd been taught to do it, and what mood were you in? Oh, I was in a real rush, and yeah, I was really angry because something had happened. So I said, well, that won't work. And this person said, yes, it didn't work. So, it's not something we can just do. We think we can, but we're not connected enough, perhaps, to really make them work. Because remember that, affirmations really are a kind of healing. Yeah, they're a healing energy. It's very subtle energy, and it's magnetic. So if you think of the power of a magnet, if it's really clean and it's working properly, then you can attract whatever you want. But is your magnet clean and working properly? That's what you have to ask yourself before we start. So it's really a kind of healing, because we are putting ourselves out into the universe. We are penetrating all the words that are in the atmosphere from the limited mind, all the excuse me, all the negative language, all of that stuff that's already out there from the limited mind. We really have to be in the unlimited mind to make this work. So let's just move on. I got a frog in my throat. Okay. Now, you've heard us say this before, and Ebby, please stop me when you want to. Every word is an instruction to the body. Every word. That means every word you say out loud, every word you think of saying out loud, but don't for some reason. Every word you say inside your head, and often people have thoughts looping around their heads, and they maybe not aware that that's happening. So we can get trapped in the limited mind, as we've said many times, and we may not know it. So if you have a suspicion that's what's happening with you, for example, I have a friend here in Japan who told me yesterday she can't sleep. She sleeps for about 3 hours. I mean, I know it's okay for some people to sleep for 3 hours because they can nap like Ebby does. But my friend doesn't nap, so she goes the whole day on 3 hours sleep without any kind of nap. So she gets really worn out. So I said, well, what happens? Why can't you sleep? And she said, well, I'm not sure really. So I took her back to think about that. And I said, what was the last thought you had before you tried to sleep? She said, oh, well, my husband's sick and he's got to go and have surgery and I'm really worried about it. And so this clearly was looping around in her mind and was causing her not to be able to sleep. So you may not know it, but if you talk to someone like me or Ebby, we can really show you that maybe you're not aware of what is going on in your head. And yeah, this is the kind of basic foundational idea around all of the embodiment work we do, and that is that every word is an instruction to the body. Every word. Every word ripples through all your cells. So if you're constantly saying something negative to yourself, it will ripple through the whole body. And whatever you're saying will come to pass. If you say it often enough, it will come to pass. Like, for example, oh, I'm just not good enough. She's much better than me. I can't do it. If you say that often enough, it will come to pass. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
one word, the one thing sentence I find that is automatic for a lot of people, that just comes out of their mouth without them even realizing that they're saying it. It's as soon as you suggest something, oh, it's I can't. I was with a friend yesterday, and he said, "Oh, you'll never be able to get around this place. It's like a maze." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Oh, it's difficult to get around. I can't." And I had to point out to her that I can, And I used the method of the 622-859, So just as I was walking through, I just thought, I'm not going to be afraid that I'm going to forget, because it's already in my head that I will never remember. I'm just going to take it in and be present. And as I was going back, I had a little bit of fear that maybe I won't remember. And then she actually said to me, "You see, you don't remember it. I told you, you don't remember it." And I just ignored that sentence, and I just followed and just stayed calm and just followed, and we got back through. It's like a maze, the place, but I got back through and I got her to the place. I didn't say to her, "I told you so." But then we got to a certain point and she said, we're there. And I just didn't say anything about it. But
Good
it's
for
how even
you.
somebody else can put that in your head, and you
Mm,
stop believing in yourself. Because it's about trust in what you've done. I've been there once, and I can go back again,
yes.
retracing my steps.
Yes, it's all about trust. Everything is about self trust, really. And so your friend clearly doesn't trust herself, and she doesn't trust you either, which is horrible, isn't it?
And surprisingly, she's a coach that teaches people on confidence. And in my mind, I didn't want to say that to her because she gets sensitive or get defensive. But I'm thinking, you're teaching people about getting confidence, but you don't even trust yourself. And she goes, "I'm intuitive, so I know when people are bad." And I'm thinking, no, everybody's good,
Mm,
but they might present bad behaviors. But
mm,
if you dig
yeah.
down in the unlimited mind, they are good. In this head, they might not present good behaviors. And I think that's a difficult
Absolutely.
concept to understand.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's even more than a concept, it's a reality. It's actually a reality in the body. Everything works like the earth works. The earth is not a bad, evil place. We are earth dwellers. We come from the earth, and so we are intrinsically good. We are intrinsically um, positive. But this dissuades us of that very powerfully. And that's
It's
one of the things
protection,
that.
isn't it? It tries to keep us away from danger. And I think we have gone to the stage where, and I think it's on. I saw it in there. I was just reading that this morning, your book,
Mm,
and it's gone to a stage where we've allowed our mind to control who we really are.
yeah, that's it. It in a nutshell. And your little story now has really brought that home. It's a great story. And we are so uh, sensitive to people. Remember, we're reading the signals from people all the time. We have no choice about that.
Mm.
We can't stop it. That's our natural way of being. But then, if we add to that words which are deprecating or undermining, which people often say habitually, they don't know they're saying them. And I come across this all the time with clients. They have no idea how negative their words can be, you know, until we start to reframe them and look at them more closely. And of course, negative words have a very low vibration, and that
But
really.
I notice is that if people are not open already, like she was, "Oh, you're cutting me off," and I'm saying, because I felt she was being negative. And it's like when people are not aware, they get defensive if
Yeah,
you try. So I had to step back because I
yeah,
saw that she wasn't ready, which is an improvement for me, because I would, in the past, what I would try to do before Lodestone and everything is I'll try to explain, which again, when we're explaining, that is a
Excellent.
lack of self-worth and self-trust. I don't need to
Absolutely.
explain. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Excellent, excellent. I'm so pleased that you're now stepping back. Yes, it's all that little in peace and wealth at the weekend when we gave that little tip. Just stepping back is exactly what you did, and you influenced her in a different way. Yeah,
Mm.
you'll be amazed how she will change now.
And she did.
Uh,
She did actually calm down, and she again started trying to defend herself for why she reacted that way. I said it's
oh,
okay, because hopefully she will reflect, and her body is taking it in. So
mm, mm,
obviously it's
yeah,
not an instant. It's not doesn't these things changes don't happen instantly, and it's a
mm.
process which takes time. So I'll see.
Yeah, well, would be very interesting over the next few months, and how she changes and maybe comes and does those things, Yes, the thing is, if we are committed enough, and I talked today about commitment on mindful moments and yesterday, um, if we are committed enough to ourselves, Lodestone is not a quick fix. It's a 30-day program, and you have to do those 30 days. People by the end of 20 or 21 often reach a certain awareness and epiphany and so on. But yeah, you need time to soften the hardwiring of the brain, which has maybe been wired that way for 30, 40, 50 years, So it's not going to happen overnight. And it doesn't want to either, because you need to be present as all the different phases of your real self appear, and you need to be there now and here, rather. You need to be now and here during that um, transcendence, if you want to call it that, to really witness what's happening to you. So yes, it's great if you can apply what you're absorbing from all embodiment training, and apply it in life. And it's really quite fascinating, isn't it, to watch what happens to people we know fairly well, or we think we know them fairly well. So I'll be interested to hear what develops next on that front. But super. Yes. So please, everybody, remember that, every word is an instruction. And Ebby's been great over the last 6 months or so, really catching herself, habitually using the words which are not serving her. And that's excellent, that awareness. This is what you need. And it comes from Lodestone practice and embodiment practice in general. So that's wonderful, Ebby. Thanks for that great story. Moving on then, yes, we are always shoulding on ourselves. A friend of ours, Margaret Barry and Heather Barry, her daughter, have invented this phrase, and I think it's rather good. Rather, conjures up an amazing image, I think. We have to stop shoulding ourselves, shoulding on ourselves. And very often, these negative phrases, oh, I failed, these judgmental phrases, oh, I made a mistake, oh, typical, I'm not good enough, self-deprecatory. These just rise onto the lips without a flicker of presence. Well, this is another way in which we're performing. We're letting autopilot dominate us. We think we are fluent in our language and it should just trip off the tongue. But that's the limited mind. That's another limitation of the limited mind. Language is always up for reassigning, redesigning, reselecting to really serve you and to serve the people around you too.
One thing is that we need to recognize, and I'm learning myself and paying more attention to the words that come out of my mouth. When you preface anything with I, it has a profound effect on your body, because the unlimited mind takes it as a command, like you said earlier. It's not like the limited mind that can kind of reason and say, okay, this is what you're trying to say. If you say I failed, or I am not good enough, you're giving an instruction to your body of that thing you're saying. So when you say I am, or I am something, be careful that it's something positive, because it's not something you can the way you can control it is by being positive. Because it's instruction. If you give it a negative instruction, then it wants to satisfy you. It wants to make you happy. So it's going to give you that instruction. Oh, I'm always sick. Yeah, of course. And then you find yourself being sick every month because you're always sick. That's what you've told your body. No.
So as we've mentioned before, words become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and if you say them often enough, not only are you unconsciously saying them, which I can't even think about, it makes my head hurt to be speaking unconsciously. Every word I say is conscious, and I've had long training. So, you need to be conscious of every word you say. And remember that the limited mind, one of its prime functions is to be critical. And it will be critical of you if you allow it all the time, which pushes you further and further down, and prevents you from flourishing and thriving and stepping forward with your beautiful, unique consciousness. So, yes, as Evie says, it's really important to think for a moment, pause. Of course, we've talked about stepping back. Of course, the essential thing is to pause before you speak. And we did the breathing. So a really good thing is to, if someone asks you a question or someone has spoken and you want to respond, you're going to respond rather than react. And so you need at least a couple of seconds to move your eye contact away from them and breathe. And we've said many times, yes, and once you've taken that in breath, take the out breath too, and then speak. And you'll be in a much calmer place. The exhale lowers your blood pressure. That's a physical fact. But that pause to take in the breath and exhale it, get rid of the carbon dioxide, and then speak without taking another in breath, will make you so much calmer. I gave the example a long time ago of the telephone ringing. When your telephone rings, what do? Most people immediately tense their shoulders, tense their fists, and grab their phone 10 times harder than it needs to be grabbed, and then say something with too much breath. The best thing to do is let the phone ring while you compose yourself, while you breathe, while you step back, while you breathe out, and then pick the phone up with a beautiful touch, just enough grip to hold the phone lightly, put it to your ears, and speak beautifully from your heart. Yeah, it's just that pause.
Because I think, like you said, instinctively, when the phone rings, I would pick it up. But I'm glad you said what you've just said now, because let it ring. We used to in the old days. Let the phone ring. Why is it that now we feel that we have to pick it up? Most people would let their phone ring about twice before they even picked it up. And when they picked it up, they would take a breath. instinctively. But I think, I don't know, maybe because we've changed over the decades and everything seems to be rushed now. Everything has
Yes,
to be done
yes,
now. We feel we have to respond straight away, otherwise
yes.
we will lose. So the fear is again fear, isn't it? Fear of loss, fear that we'll
Mm,
lose the thing, fear
yes,
that we'll lose the person, especially if we see the name on and we want to talk to the person, fear that the person is going to go away, but then you can
yeah.
always call back. So, but this fear, I don't know. It's a protection. I suppose that our reptilian brain is on over. It's on overdrive, isn't it? Wanting
Well,
to.
absolutely. We have to remember that we are animals. We are animals, but we've got consciousness and we've stood up. And but we are animals basically. So we have the higher
Yeah, that's
self.
standing up.
Yeah.
So that standing up has made us vulnerable. Is that why we're responding that way? Because we're just kind of
Yes.
scared. We don't really know what we're scared of, but we're scared something negative is going to happen.
Yes, it's in our DNA, that fear of being exposed. And I meet people all the time who say to me, "Oh, I really admire what you're doing on LinkedIn. You're so exposed." And I said, "But there's nothing to be scared of. The worst that can happen is I get hacked. But I've made provision for that, so I won't get hacked. And I'm really loving,
And
you
if
know,
you get hacked, you'll deal with it at the time. You know,
yeah,
deal with it. It is what it is.
mm,
We're
that's right.
far scared of something that hasn't happened. Which
That's
might
right. Absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, the phone ringing idea is, yeah, this is really fundamental. Reacting. It's the nervous system jumping. And it's actually one of the excellent reasons I have for not owning a phone. I do not have a phone. I don't believe in them.
I'll give you a testimony about having a phone. So 2 years ago, my phone got stolen,
Ah,
and I didn't have a phone. And I decided, because I was very into going and watching a lot of YouTube videos. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go cold turkey now. So I got myself one of those, they call them the burner phones.
oh, yeah.
So that can only send texts, and it's not even easy to send text, because if it's not like the new phones, it saves the texts. If you don't
Um,
finish it and save it, it disappears. So you have to start again. And
oh,
yeah, it's not. So I had one of those phones, and I did notice a calmness in my nervous system.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And, but, you know, if you do have a phone, don't suddenly, you know, sell your phone and get a burner phone.
I mean,
You
I've
know,
got a phone now. I've got a normal phone now.
yeah, yeah. And I'm sure you respond rather than react now with your
I
embodiment
am
work.
better. I'm not there
Yeah.
quite there, but this is helping me get to the realization that I don't have to answer straight away. I don't have to
Oh,
be all the time.
no.
I take off the notifications, so I don't know when the messages come in.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things for me is, yeah, responding in writing. That's why I'm a writer, so I love writing. But, you know, I love the idea of having a little space before I respond to a message or a comment box, you know, that little moment of reflection always brings something good, you know. And so, you know, all of the platforms, WhatsApp and so on, I enjoy working on those platforms because I've got time to think about what I want to write. So, yes. But if you do have a phone, then and you can't delete it. You can't do without it. It's a really good opportunity for you to change the way you respond to the phone. So instead of answering it within 2 rings, as Ebby said, make it 4,
Yeah.
make it 5. And in those 3 seconds, step back, breathe, come back to your anchorage of your breath here and now. And then you'll find when you pick the phone up, your fingers are much looser, You pick the phone up lightly, you hold it with no effort to your ear or wherever you hold it, and you speak in a completely different kind of voice. Remember, when you speak to people on the phone, they're picking up signals from your voice.
Yeah.
We're not conscious of that, but we are influenced by the tone and register of people's voices on the phone, especially.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I really can't cope with the phone at all. The irresponsibility, maybe we could call it, of somebody ringing and maybe being very angry inside, but wanting to say hello, just hello, I've had so many bad experiences with phones in the past, and those signals really drive me crazy if they're not congruent with what the person is saying, and very subtle energy that we can pick up from the voice, the register, the range, many, many things. So that's another reason I refuse to have one. But if you do have one and it's a very important part of your life, that's great. But take this opportunity to rise to that challenge and try to modify how you deal with that phone, I see people in Japan walking down the street holding their phone like this. They're not looking at the traffic. They're not looking at maybe they're going to get run over by a bicycle. And even cyclists here. And now the police are clamping down on this. But 10 years ago, there's so many potential accidents when you're a car driver because the cyclist in front of you is reading his phone.
They are lethal.
It's a death wish. It's a death wish, isn't it? And actually now the police have clamped down here. So now the bicycle accidents have really cut in half now because it's against the law now for a cyclist to be looking at a phone while they're cycling. Thank goodness that's happening. So, yeah. So, yes, this is a great opportunity for you to change the way you're dealing with your phone and, think of yourself rather than the other person. Know that when you come back to breathe and back to your anchorage of the breath and the spine and all of that, then you're going to sound so much better to the person you're speaking to. So, it's a real good opportunity, I think. Okay, let's move on and see what else we've got. Yeah, now anger. It's really important to understand that you may not know you're angry. We have a lot of passive aggression here in Japan. People sound as if they're okay, but there's a lot of resentment and anger boiling away behind because the culture is very, very strict here. So in my classes with Japanese students, I've often helped them to get rid of this anger lingering inside them. So it's really important to be in touch with yourself properly before you can really appreciate if you are angry or not. And today, I think it's very, very possible that 8 out of 10 people are angry in some way.
I think you notice it in London anyway. I notice it in London. Because like when I go out into the country, you notice that people are less angry. In the city, people are angry, and you can just see the words are not congruent with the energy that's coming out, signals that's coming out. And anger in different ways. It could be because they're stressed. There's burnout approaching too for a lot of people. So you just see it. And they're angry in that even the language, there's a lot of complaining. There's never a lot of gratitude. It's always negative, My boss is that. But yeah, okay, your boss may be those things, but what are you? for you?
Yeah, good point. Very good point. Yes, I know. And city anger, city rage is very prevalent in the world at the moment. But remember that in a way, anger is not your enemy. It's
No.
not something to kill or, throw acid at or something. It's actually a friend. And if you can be authentic enough to realize your anger, then you can really start to do something about it. But violence, which is what we're coming back to, this non-violent way of communicating, is really the reaction to anger. So if you're in an angry state, then your behavior will be aggressive or maybe even
And
violent.
it might not be violence, physical violence. It might just be violence in tone.
Yeah.
Or calibration of your face.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
So the other person is picking up the anger, and sometimes you wonder why somebody is aggressive towards you. So I think sometimes if people are aggressive towards you, maybe first, before judging the other person, maybe the first thing to do is look within. Do you have anger? Are you expressing that in your non-violent, in your violent communication?
That's right. Yeah, it's a reaction. Violence is a reaction, and serial killers, which I know quite a bit about, as you know, they commit murders when the violence comes to the surface. The anger turns into the violence, and then all hell breaks loose, And anger, just to talk about that a little bit more, anger may reveal something you need. You're not getting what you need. You may need to be seen. You may need to be heard. You may need to your partner to put the phone down and communicate with you. These little things. Anger is often an unmet need. And that means you need to listen more carefully.
Your body. When you say listen, you mean listen to what's going on inside you.
Yes. Listen to what your anger is showing you. In other words, take the time, as you would put it, to go within and do some mindful practice. Come and join mindful moments, and I guarantee you that need will reveal itself. If you spend 30 minutes in a mindful state, you will come out the other end saying, oh yeah, I must do this, or I have to get this right, or something like that. So listening inside will reveal that need, perhaps. Just moving on. So now blame. Yeah, this is a huge topic. And I see it all the time. Because we are not properly connected with ourselves, and the body is always in a dangerous state, there's very little security. You may have psychological security, but that's coming from the limited mind. You're neglecting the body, perhaps. You're not connected to your body and your spirit. And so your body's in this kind of preparation for danger all the time. And so blame then is what we lash out with, because the body is in a dangerous situation. It's being neglected. The emotions are rising and intensifying. And so it lashes out quite often. And when we do that, when we blame someone or we blame something, the classic thing is your pen doesn't work and you need to write something urgently. So what do? You throw the pen down, or you throw it out the window or something because you're so angry inside. So you're blaming the pen. How ridiculous is that? But people do it all the time. And of course, when you do that, blame really changes your breathing. You start to shallow breathe. you're not listening anymore. It blocks any listening, and you're not connected.
You know what?
Blame.
Blame is a big one. It's really a big one because I think that seems to be the go-to now. So you go somewhere. This is a simple one, social setting. You go somewhere and people don't talk to you. Oh, it's because I'm this. That's why they're not talking to me. But the first question I always ask people is that, okay, they're not talking to you, but what have you done to get them talking to you? So have you gone up and said hello? Because they might be feeling intimidated, so they're not coming to talk to you, but you've made an assumption they're not talking to you because of something that's you. So that's actually your problem, not their problem, because they might be shy, or they might not feel comfortable with you. You know, they might feel you don't know what signals you're giving off. You might be giving off a signal of "don't come near," or a signal of aggression. You know, but you don't realize it. So there could be several reasons why somebody's not coming up to you to say hello. But it's a responsibility to come up to you to say hello. If you want to talk to somebody, that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Go up and start the conversation. It's not their duty to come to you to start a conversation. So it's like, but then the blame is always you're blaming something external for a situation that's happening to you. And in that, you've given your power away. And once you give your power away and become a victim, you've now become a victim of whatever it is that's making you believe they're not talking to you. Once you become a victim, you're sending out that energy, you lose power. It's very, we have to, the embodiment is so important, you know. If something's happening and that's what you want and you desire people to talk to you, then what's wrong with you making the first step? You make an assumption that prevents you from doing that.
That's right. I mean, that's a lovely social context to give to our listeners. Yeah, that's great. Yes, it's another incongruity. You know, we are not connected to ourselves, so we can't take responsibility for what's going wrong, and so we start wallowing in our lack of attraction. You know, we're not beautiful, we're not attracting people to us. You know, it's a kind of wallowing. But in fact, if you are truly connected, then people will be dying to speak to you because you emanate this magnetism. And they really.
This friend of mine yesterday, that was so funny. She writes songs and she sings. So there was this person playing the guitar and he said, anybody can come up to the mic. She decided, for me, I would have sung a song that everybody knows. She's decided to play one of her songs. And she was disappointed in the response. So she said to blame, oh, this, oh, the mic was this. I'm never going to do this again unless I've got a good this. I've got that. I said, there's nothing wrong. But the thing is that with most people enjoy music that they know. Most people are not open. I'm open to any type of music, but most people are not open to any type of music. They only like what they know, what they can sing to. So you explain something. If you wanted people to like you, then you should have sung something that people know. And what does it matter if they don't like you? So she's looking for the external validation again. If you enjoy what you're doing, listen to, I took a video of her singing, listen to it and think, maybe I can improve it. The guy that discovered the light bulb, it took several experiences. The guy that wrote there's a book, and it took, I think he said about 1,000 times before his book got published. We see the end result of people, successful people, but we don't know their journey. So what you do is you listen to this music that you've played. Is there something I can? It's not criticism. It's a good thing. You know, listen to it. Is there something I can improve to make it better? Rather than go straight to blame. You know, because you don't know what's going. People's taste. Music is a difficult thing for a lot of people. People have certain tastes, and they won't deviate from that taste. Nothing to do with you.
Yeah, so true, so true. Yeah, there are so many contexts we can talk about here. Um, yeah, we can go on and do this because I think this is a really important topic. Let's just move on to the next slide as we're getting short of time again. Oh dear. So, yeah, who hears your words? You.
You do.
And I don't know why people don't realize this, but you are the first person to hear your words, whether they're externalized or internalized. You, only you. So your body receives every sentence. And long before this explains. So we've been talking recently about putting experience before explanation. And it's very much the case with words that we use. Your body will receive every sentence, and your mind won't catch up with explaining those things fast enough. So, this is maybe something else to bear in mind when you start to speak. I'll move a little bit more quickly now, Abby, so we can just.
Affirmations. We're talking about affirmations, and something just dropped when you said that last slide. Something just dropped that we're saying these words out, but internally, like you said, we hear ourselves internally. So we're saying, "I want to be rich," for instance, but internally we're saying, "Ah, that's impossible." So there's misalignment, and you wonder why your affirmations are not working.
Yes, that absolutely. Yeah. So alignment is so important. So, yeah, but before we change the words we say, and this is the key to affirmations and visualization, then we have to change our state. Many people don't know how to do that. They have no idea how to do that. And we have to remember that speech is essentially your breath made visible. You know, without the breath, the vocal folds won't vibrate and your voice will not work. So it's really important to realize you can't just sit down and change all your words. That won't work. You have to go inside mindfully, and it will take time. It's not something you can do overnight. Don't add it to your to-do list. Change all my words. If you do that, you'll be in a mess. So rather than try to change the words, come to mindful moments on a Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday and practice with me. Moving into.
On?
Sorry, what
time is it on so people can know?
Oh, well, it's EDT 8 p.m. on Monday, PDT 5 p.m. So that's the American audience on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. But then I republish it for the British European audience at 9:30 at night, which is 10:30 in the UK. Yeah. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, you can really experience a mindful state change, and then you'll see what happens to the words that you select. Well, let's move on, see if we can get through these points, even if we don't go into them in too much detail. So, yeah, we've done this many times, but if you're standing or sitting, really you need grounding. And the best way to ground is to use the Earth's gravitational force. It's there. It's a force field. And we can use it. So as you're sitting now in your chair, really just let go of the lower half of your body. Really feel the weight of your pelvis and your sitting bones going down into your seat. And eventually, once you've let go a little more, you'll feel your legs feel heavy, and a little more, and you'll find that your feet now are really starting to spread further, and especially the outer border of your feet. Let those spread, and now you feel really secure because you're grounded in your seat. At that point, breathe. And you will allow the crown of your head to go up. So being truly grounded and feeling really safe in the Earth's gravitational force means we are really urging to be upright, because being vertical is our preferred state after 7 million years of being vertical. We want to be upright. And we, of course, we have to fight with gravity. And if we're tired, we may start to slump a little bit. But once you're truly grounded, you can really have that strong urge to be upright, and the crown of the head will go up, and you'll feel this wonderful two-way stretch. So the weight of your body in the chair and your head going up. And remember to drop your chin a little bit. It's really important not to stick your chin up in the air, because that shortens the back of the neck. But just drop your chin and you'll feel a nice length on the back of your neck. And that's it. That is a wonderful position to be in, to be grounded, and also to be aspiring. To aspire means to be upwards, to aspire to something up there. So this is a really lovely practice. And yeah, you don't need to change anything. It's all done within. It's all done with the power of your mind. So just think these things and they will come to pass. Well, that's a little grounding exercise. So far then, we're saying that language, words, phrases, sentences change physiology. And they do. That's exactly it. This is so important before we speak an affirmation. You can see, I think, the huge connection here and relevance of this fact that your language changes your physiology. And one more example of this is when we are scolded by somebody, a parent, a partner, somebody really shouts at us, "Oh, why did you do that?" or something. Then what happens? We take a gasp. We gasp. The breath becomes shallow. We feel awful that we've done something to upset this person, usually.
Anger.
Usually. Or we may feel anger.
But I mean, feeling that way, is that part of anger? Because I think people think anger is just throwing things, but anger can be different too. So I'm wondering, would that be part of being angry?
Well, yes, it could be. And it depends on your makeup, really. And also your level of anger. If it's been brewing up for many years, as it often does, then it may take a long time to kind of deal with it and start to dismantle it. And so that's a longer process. But yes, anger, any of these negative emotions will definitely be affected by the language that you use. Certain words will exacerbate your anger. And, maybe someone always saying to you, "Oh, you seem so hostile," or something like, will push it even further. You'll feel even angry, So yes, think about language in your life. Think about the effect the language in your daily life has on you. And then magnify that, because the words we speak to ourselves have even more influence on us. So yes, this is preparation for affirmations. And so, before we can really get down to creating those affirmations, which are tailor-made for you and your situation, we have to go inside and change the state that we're in. This is not a quick fix. It will take time to do that. So, and this language, the effect of language, is not necessarily because the words are untrue. It's because the nervous system maybe isn't ready to receive them. If you're burning out, you're on the verge of burnout, you're exhausted, or you are very sad, or any of these rather negative, heavy states, then of course your nervous system is not in good shape. It's not regulated very well. And that means the language will have a very raw effect on your nervous system. And the words may be true, but your nervous system isn't in the right state to receive them. So it's all about regulation, really, and affirmations is all about the internal regulation. Receiving is what affirmations is all about. We can't transmit until we can receive. It's a two-way street. Of course, it's like all things in the universe. There are two sides. It's a balance. It's a balancing act. Good, bad, happy, sad. We can see that reflected in our language. So before you can make really effective affirmations, we have to be in receipt of gravity, which we've just done, a little practice, breath. We're receiving the oxygen from the earth. Support, our families, our friends, our environments are supporting us. We're not in the middle of a desert. We are supported by everything around us. Silence is something people find very hard to receive quite often. Sitting in silence is a wonderful thing. And here in Japan, I'm in heaven because people just love to be silent. So sitting with people while they're silent is such a lovely thing. And presence. So you have to be connected to yourself in order to really receive your own presence, to really substantially feel yourself. So those 5 things, I think, are really important before you can really work with affirmations properly. So I'll just go on a little bit more, Ebby. I know you've got things to say, but we're running out of time.
No,
so
it's fine.
Is it okay? So as I've said just now, really, transmission without any reception is about struggling, really. It's not smooth. It's a two-way street, always. Receive, transmit, receive, transmit. So it creates friction or struggle, we might say. And if we are good at receiving, it means we are very good at allowing life to arrive. I'd like everybody here present listening to this talk to use the word allow during the week ahead. It's so different to should. Even I prefer allow above all. Allow yourself to calm down. Allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to step back. We need to give ourselves permission. Yeah. Try it. It works wonders. Yeah. A very simple thing. You may be going to eat soon. I'm going to eat my dinner soon. And always before I start to eat, because I want to be totally present when I'm eating, I always say in my heart, allow yourself to enjoy this meal. It's not a prayer. Don't worry, it's nothing religious. It's just giving myself permission to stop everything and focus on the delight of my food and drink.
And the gratitude of the food too.
Yes, that's really important too. Although that could bring with it guilt sometimes. So I think first of all, the word allow is the one to try out. Try it out. And you'll see it's an incredibly different way of instructing yourself. And I use that all the time when I'm guiding people in mindful practice. So we've nearly finished, I think. So yeah, instead of saying, I must become, I allow myself to become. I welcome myself to do this. I receive this, and so on. Try those few words, but allow is the best one. You'll be amazed if you are present enough to use it in the week ahead. Yeah. So this is just a little, these words may stay with you in the same way that the 6 numbers I gave you last week may stay with you as they did with Ebishila. Receive before you repeat. Experience before you explain. And be present before you perform. Okay, so receive before you repeat. Receive before you speak. Experience. How am I feeling now? Oh, wow, I feel this, I feel that. Before you explain. And the way you explain will be very different if you experience what you're feeling first. And then be present before you stand up and ask your question or before you give your presentation. Be present first, and you'll be amazed how smoothly it goes. So try and remember those things. Receive before you repeat, experience before you explain, be present before you perform. Okay, Abby, got it?
Got it.
Great, super. So, yeah, violence then, we'll have to come to an end now, but let me leave you with this final thought. Violence begins really when we stop listening. And we can see that with the criminal mind and the criminal acts. Most criminals who perpetrate heinous crimes do not remember anything about those crimes. They've completely blocked them out. And so the violence has brewed because they've stopped listening to themselves and they're listening to everybody else. And
I think you're going to extreme because I think it applies to even the simple things that we do, because we don't listen to ourselves. Because if you're talking about the criminals, it looks like it's only them it applies to, but no, it applies to the rest of us too.
Oh no, it applies to everybody.
And we forget and we move on.
Yeah. No, I'm just using the criminal as an extreme example, but that for me that's really salutary that criminals don't remember what they've done because they've stopped listening to themselves, and they themselves would never do such a thing, would never perpetrate such an act, because remember, we are good. We humans are intrinsically good. So several criminals have said to me, oh yeah, I was not present. I was not listening to myself. I was listening to angry voices outside who were willing me to do something about everything.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that because you're giving the extreme, everybody might forget that they also have it. Because even if you're not a criminal, there's a lot of things that we do because we're not listening. Like my incident with my friend yesterday, she wasn't listening to her body. So she wasn't realizing what she was doing. And instead, she was blaming the external. So she was blaming me in one stage. Oh, I don't like that. Don't stop me. Or she was blaming the other people for not listening, for not clapping for her. You know, so it's not listening to the inside of herself and trusting herself. You know, that's what I'm saying, that it happens to us, not just.
Oh, yes. I mean, it happens to us all the time. And, you know, you can catch it. When you're not listening properly to yourself and the world around you, when you're really distracted, you know, by many different things that the limited mind tends to make us very distracted, you know. So when you're distracted, you're not really listening to yourself. And that's where the seeds of violence start to be sown. And to begin with, they're very small, but then they can grow and grow and grow. And there are then extreme things that happen in our human lives that point this out to us. And we realize that that violence has been growing in us for a long time. And so, yeah, healing begins when we really start listening and we start receiving. And every human being has incredible talent to self-heal. We don't realize how powerful we are. And I see it all around me. People self-heal. They start to change. They start to completely reform their perspectives and so on. This comes from healing. It's our ability to heal ourselves. And we, humans, are the only people who can do it, I believe. If we allow our power to work within us, then we heal ourselves. So, yeah, it's all to do with listening, and it's all to do with receiving. And listening and receiving are really very similar. You know, you are taking things in, you're absorbing things fully. And so, yeah, if you stop listening, then things will start to go wrong, and your self-healing won't be activated so well as it could. So I'm going to bring us back to come to the end of our little talk. That was great. I'm so glad we could get into this today, and you had some super questions and experiences to share. So that's really great. So yeah, I better check if we've got any comments before we wind up. No, I don't think we've got any comments today. Let's see if we. No, I don't think we have. Okay, so out there, if you've got comments or questions or anything really, please put them in the comment box below the window. We'll get back to you, and we can DM you easily. Abby and I will be put our profile links there, so you can contact us whenever you need to. And I'll talk on my comment about Lodestone too, because Lodestone is the principal tool we use to get people reconnected with themselves. It's a 30-day program. It's very magical what happens when you commit yourself to a 30-day period of mindfulness. 30 minutes a day, that's all it takes. If you want a taste of that, come and join me on Mindful Moments on a Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I'll put this in the comments to remind you. And yeah, Abby, have a great weekend. I know you've been on the razzle for a couple of days. Probably looking forward to a nice rest this weekend. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We're going to do some stuff tomorrow. So have a great weekend, and thanks for everything you've done this week. I'm sure you've worked wonders, and I look forward to it, hearing about it. And everybody out there, please use that word allow. If you can't sleep, just say that word. I allow myself to sleep now. It's amazing. It works. It works. Try it, and we'll look forward to comments and questions about it for next week. In the meantime, we'll be back next week, same time, 9 a.m. BST, and we republish it so that people in America can get a glimpse of this too. So you can't miss out. Yeah. Yeah, we'll speak to you very soon. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.